In this video, we have the patch 5.06 tier list. What's going on, ProGuides family? It's your host, Sergeant Frost. We're heading into the dog days of Act 2, as we are right now in the middle of this act and episode currently. But a new patch calls for a new agent tier list, so let's see how the meta is shifting as we begin to close out Act 2. But before we jump into the S tier, this is a reminder that you can get high-level coaching from our Radiant and Immortal level coaches on our website, ProGuides.com. On our website, you can find all the help you need from coaching to courses that will help you elevate your game in more ways than one. The link is in the description if you're interested. Now, let's start off with the S tier. Climbing to the top of the S tier this patch, we have Fade. Fade has had a long road in the meta. At first, the community at large wasn't sure if she'd be a mainstay in the meta as an initiator, as her kit still needed time to be figured out. But now that we are several months down the line, Fade has overshadowed Sova as the best info gathering initiator on most maps. The biggest reason Fade has found herself in the #1 spot is because she has become a more aggressive and a more versatile info gatherer than Sova is. She excels on smaller maps where her prowlers and her eye can gather info quickly and effectively. Fade also does more than just info gathering, which makes her super valuable in the team comp. She also has a plethora of CC options in her prowlers, her snare, and her ultimate, which heavily impair her enemies. Fade's kit can be used to her full potential on both attack and defense, and that is why she is the #1 pick right now in the meta. Chamber is still top dog in the meta as of right now. The devs said in their State of the Agents address recently that they are coming back for a second round of nerfs and changes for Chamber, so we will have to see how powerful he still is after those changes come through. But until Riot gets around to adjusting Chamber, he is still the second best pick in the game right now, right behind Fade. Right now, in the current state of the meta, there is not another agent that provides as much utility, kill pressure, and overall value than Chamber does. His ability to play a hybrid playstyle of a defensive sentinel while holding some insane firepower brings value to a team that no other agent can compete with right now. A lot of you may be saying, you guys just put KO at the top of the S tier last tier list, and now he's back at the bottom of S. What gives? Well, let us explain our decision real quick. In the recent State of the Agents address this month, the devs noted that KO is picked really often in pro play and he is meta, but he has a lower win rate and slightly lower pick rate in ranked. This is most likely due to the uncoordinated nature of teams in a solo queue environment that doesn't allow for KO to take full advantage of his suppression and the rest of his kit. This could also be that players in ranked are not as experienced or as proficient with using KO's abilities in the right ways and at the right times. But regardless of that, the potential for him to shine as an agent is there if you are a good KO player. Viper is still in a good spot at the top of the A tier in patch 5.06, but she does have to operate under certain conditions. She is still dominating on her meta maps, as she is the mainstay controller on Breeze, Fracture, Icebox, and now Pearl too. Viper's caveat as an agent though is that her value diminishes if she's not played on her good maps. She is a usable controller, but on other maps, the rest of the smoke agents are more versatile and their smokes are more preferred over a huge immobile wall. Viper takes a lot of coordination to play well, and that doesn't bring a lot of value to a team in solo queue if you can't get everyone on board with the plays that she's trying to execute. Nonetheless, Viper still should be your go-to controller pick if one of her good maps comes up in your games. Phoenix is one of the agents taking a big jump up the list this patch. So what's the deal with him? Well, he's not the most used pick in pro play by any means, but his flash buffs have made him very annoying and hard to play against in a solo queue environment. Duelists in general tend to capitalize off chaos, and Phoenix is really good at capitalizing with his flash. He is currently a very strong pick for ranked, and is most likely going to be a good choice for a lot of people trying to carry games. Phoenix is an easy to use, reliable carry that is finding his way to the top of the ranked food chain once again. Reyes is getting the tip of the cap in this tier list as she is being placed above Jet for the first time in a very long time. Due to Chamber's continued dominance despite his nerfs and also the introduction of Fade, agents like Reyes are a lot more powerful in combination together due to her utility combos with these agents. This synergy makes her a lot more powerful in a lot of combat situations and for a lot of smaller CQC maps. Despite what many may think, Reyes is a great agent to pick up right now. Neon had a big spike in popularity with her pick rate at the start of the episode, but recently she has shown up less in pro play and also in ranked games it seems. She is generally a strong agent but can prove to be too fast for teams to capitalize on in most cases, and she's also hard to use well. A good Neon player has the capabilities to overwhelm her enemies and take over her games, but at the moment there are not enough Neon mains in the world for her to be a #1 duelist in the meta right now. Jet is starting to be overshadowed in the meta a bit. Other agents are becoming more specialized at doing certain jobs that she used to do in a team comp, which means there's no longer a need for Jet's jack-of-all-trades playstyle to be the main focus in the meta anymore. Jet is still a fast-paced, speedy entry-fragging duelist, but now players have more options besides her if they don't want to run Jet in their games. Jet is still a great agent at her core, it's just that the paradigm of choice means that more players have options other than her now in ranked. Sova is in a good spot right now, but he's nowhere near as dominant as he used to be in the meta. Fade has overshadowed Sova as the premier info gathering initiator on all maps except for Breeze. Because of this, Sova has been seeing limited use throughout the ranked landscape this episode as Fade and other initiators have taken over the show. Right now, skirmishing around the map and hard CC are two of the most important things initiators can bring to a team comp. It's not that Sova is bad right now, it's just that his kit is not as conducive as to what the current initiator meta needs in the game at the moment. At the bottom of A tier this patch is the spooky ghost Omen, coming in right on time for Halloween season. His changes earlier this year brought him back to the meta and he's been holding his own ever since. He's not the automatic go-to controller pick for every single map, but he's still a good flex pick for a player that needs to fill Smoke's role and they're not specialized on a specific controller. Omen is a simple and easy to pilot agent, which makes him friendly to newcomers and a very powerful agent for veterans alike. At the top of the B tier once again is the engineer Killjoy. Killjoy has showed presence in the recent VCT Champions tournament as she was a meta pick on Ascent. With Chamber being due for more nerfs soon, this could open up an opportunity for her to come back into the meta slowly. She does have a great kit that many people seem to have forgotten about. I mean, a lockdown ultimate, a turret, nano swarms, and a nanobot to watch side entrances. KJ has everything she needs to be a reliable site hold on defense. She just needs Chamber to step out of the spotlight a bit in order for her to get the attention and recognition she deserves again. Yoru is a weird case of a duelist right now. His buffs and changes earlier this year did help him, but it did not simplify his kit to a point where he could become a mainstream duelist like his counterparts. What we really mean by that is that Yoru is a good duelist, but only in a good Yoru player's hands. In a Yoru main's hands, he can cause complete chaos and destruction on the map and carry with ease. Yoru is not as good as the other duelists and ranked above him in terms of general usability though. He can be a terror in game if you spend a lot of time trying to master him, but at that point you might as well use stronger and simpler to use duelists and focus your time and effort elsewhere. Brimstone is a solid controller pick right now in the meta. He's great for new players or field players that need reliable smokes. He's mainly known for being a great attacking controller because of his stim beacon executes, his long-lasting smokes, his post-plant lineups, and his ultimate. Brim is a simple agent that does the job well and he's not too complicated. He's a great pick for most maps and he's usable in almost every single elo. Skye is a usable agent, but she's not the best initiator right now by far. KO, Fade, Sova, and even Breach on certain maps should have pick priority over her. Skye can do a lot for team comp as her kit is very versatile, but since her nerfs a while ago, there's nothing that truly stands out enough to make you want to pick her over the other good initiators right now. A good Skye player can take over a game, but just like with Yoru, why pick a difficult agent to play when you could pick an easier one that could do a better job for you? Once again, Astra is in B tier for one specific reason, and that is the current Pearl map meta right now. Astra's smokes and CC allow defenses on Pearl to hold choke points better. It's hard to execute onto a site if you have to walk through an Astra stun or a suck into a bomb site with defenders waiting for you with open arms. Outside of these specific circumstances on Pearl, Astra is not a great pick for solo queue. You're better off using any of the other controllers if you really need to. Sage right now is a great pick for solo queue specifically. Her kit has always been bread and butter for team comp. It's very simple and easy to use, and currently it's a pretty good tool to stall rushes with. She actually soft counters the more meta fast-paced agents like the main duelist and Fade. And that's because Fade and those duelists are much more close proximity agents that want to fight in close quarters. Sage's healing utility is also a great asset to have in rank because it can fix your teammates' mistakes and turn the tide of a round. Breach is in C tier right now because he's a good agent in a wrong environment. His kit is great, but it kind of hinges on teammates performing well and capitalizing off of his CC. While that is a possible win condition, relying on teammates is not often a consistent factor to win with, which is why he's not as good of a pick in solo queue as he is in pro play. KO, Skye, and Fade are better skirmishing initiators right now if you really want to play one in ranked. In the recent State of the Agents address, the devs did say that they want to buff Cipher again to make him more usable and not invisible in the meta. Cipher right now is being outshadowed by his peers straight up, but a potential future Chamber nerf and Cipher buffs could bring him out of the pits of mediocrity in the meta and back to the forefront of the action as a viable Sentinel pick again. Reina needs the Phoenix treatment right now if she wants to be great again. Reina is bad compared to the other duelists right now, and in the current state of the Valorant meta right now, an agent needs to contribute something other than just kill pressure in order to be a useful member to the team. Reina needs a structural change to her kit and not some sort of numbers tweaking like Riot usually does. She needs either really good changes or straight up ability replacements in order for her to become really good again. And with that being said, that's our patch 5.06 tier list. Let us know if you agree or disagree in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been your host Sergeant Frost, and good luck on the grind this act.